Hello, artists. Today we are going to be making these fun character drawings using our favorite toy. I'm using my favorite T Rex named Theodora today. Here's what she looks like. And as you can see, I've created a drawing here of her. For our project, we're going to be using the art elements of line, shape, and space. What is space in a picture? Well, human beings generally see things in 3D. And so, in order for artists to create 3D in a picture, they need to create the illusion of space. And as you can see in this picture, it looks like that Theodora is in a room with a ceiling, a floor, and two walls and that she's actually in the room because she's not right on the edge of the paper. She's back towards the background. So I'm going to show you how to create space in your picture today using your favorite toy as a character. So here's some examples of Theodora as a character. As you can see right here, she's a ballerina on stage. She's dancing to Waltz of the Flowers and she's got on a tutu. It's going to be important that you put the right kind of costume on your character today. And there are decorations in the background, flowers, ballerinas. So she's dancing on stage. Here's another example. This is Theodora on the moon exploring. And as you can see, she's wearing a spacesuit and helmet. I don't think any T Rex ever did that, but it would be really fun to see it. And here's Theodora in Hawaii at the beach surfing. She's on a surfboard. You can see the background with the mountains, and she's got her little bikini on. So, the illusion of space in this picture is because we have the sky and the mountains in the background. We have the beach and some of the water in the middle ground, and we have Theodora and her surfboard in the foreground, which is right in the front. So when you go to create your picture, I want you to think about an activity that your toy is going to participate in and where they would do that activity. So, if you are going to have your toy do their activity in a room, you're going to want to create the illusion of space in your room. One way to do that is to make a smaller rectangle on the inside of your paper. If you're using your sketchbook, you can do it just like this in your sketchbook. So once you have your rectangle, you connect the points of each side to the side of your paper with a line. Now I'm doing this in marker but you should be doing this in pencil. I'm doing it in marker simply so that it's easier for you to see. With pencil, we can make mistakes and easily erase them. With marker, we got to live with it. But that's fine. I want you to be able to see what's going on here. So I am going to imagine that Theodora is in a bowling alley and she's going to go bowling. Well, it's awfully hard to pose, in fact, impossible to pose a plastic toy that is not movable. So I'm going to have to use my imagination to draw Theodora bowling. I'm going to draw her from the back, which means I have to look at her backwards so that I'm getting her lines and shape in correctly. So I'm going to put her in front of me. She's going to model for me, and I'm going to look at her lines and shapes. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the shape of her head. And you're going to notice that I don't draw really strong lines. I'm just making basic lines here. After I finish this, if I were doing it in pencil, I would go back and I would make better lines. Now I'm making her neck and then I'm going to draw her back and she has kind of a violin shape to her body. So this is her from the back, and now I need to draw her bowling. So this arm I'm going to draw backwards, and I'm going to draw a bowling ball at the end of it, and this arm I'm going to draw forwards. Now I need her 2 feet. Now, Theodora's feet don't move, they just look flat, and I want to imagine that Theodora is kicking one foot back. So I'm going to draw a big bowling shoe here because it would have to be a big shoe for a T-Rex, and I'm going to connect her leg. And then this leg is going to be bent a little forward and be like that. So here she is. Now, like I said, I'm going to go back and fix these lines later, but I just want to get her basic lines and shapes here. Now, I'm missing one really big important part of Theodora, and that's her tail. So I'm going to draw a long tail going off to the side. And you notice that this tail is going to cover up part of her foot. That means that you would not see this part of her foot when you finish your picture. You would just see this part. Now, in a bowling alley, there's a lane where the ball is going to go. So I'm also going to draw lines that match the sides of my walls. So here's her lane. And then there's the area where the pins are. I'm going to make my area an arc. Your area can look like anything if you're drawing a bowling alley. And then, of course, there would be pins in here, but you're not going to see all the pins because Theodora's body is blocking that. So you just might see a few, not many. Okay, those are the basic lines of the bowling alley. Now, I'm going to say that there are posters on the wall over here, and you'll notice that the lines that are on the top and the bottom are similar to the lines that are at the top and the bottom of the walls and the ceiling, and that is to create the illusion of space. And that I'm going to put posters on this side too. And, um, eventually, I would probably draw images in here. I'm just gonna kinda doodle on this so that you can see what it would look like. Maybe this one's "Welcome to bowling." Same thing over here, maybe some words and some images. But right now, I'm just going to doodle on that. Later, I would go back and fix it and make it look the way I want it to look. And then the last thing I need to do is to make the machine that catches the balls. And that is going to be right in the here, and it would come out with the balls on top. So that means you're not going to see this part of Theodora's tail. You would only see it from here and then poking out over here and then maybe some recessed lighting, and that would be at the top. Okay, so you can see this is very sketchy. It's not perfect by any means. That's perfectly fine. I would go back with my pencil and fix all that. But because it's really hard to see pencil in video, I'm doing this with marker just to give you the general idea. So that's if you want to make your toy inside of a room. So you may need to make the rectangle and the lines and then draw your toy on the inside doing an activity. Maybe they're dancing or listening to music. If I'm going to draw my toy outdoors, then I need to also create the illusion of space, but it's going to be a little different. So let's say Theodora is riding in a hot air balloon. So I have to figure out, like, where's the top of my balloon and where's the bottom of my balloon going to be? Well, in order to hold Theodora, it's going to have to be a really strong balloon. So I'm going to say my balloon goes off the page and it's going to come down this way on either side. So it takes up a good portion of the page. And then I'm going to draw the basket that Theodora is going to sit in. All right, so here's my basket. Now I need to draw Theodora. Well, I'm not going to draw the whole dinosaur because she would be inside the basket. I'm only going to draw the dinosaur kind of from the waist up. So Theodora will be looking out over the sides of the basket. So I need to look at what she looks like, what her face looks like. And I'm going to just very sketchily draw her. Theodora always has her mouth open. She's either always excited or always surprised. I can't figure out which one. And then she's going to have her paws out over. Are these called paws on a T-Rex or maybe their main legs? I'm not sure. Small legs. You can look that up and tell me what that is. So there she is sitting in the basket, and I'm also going to draw her tail coming out because why not? It wouldn't fit in the basket anyway. So here's the bottom of the balloon now. I can add that in. Here's her nostril. And then I want to add the lines that connect the balloon to the basket. It's got to hold it up there. And then I want to draw some decorations on the balloon. Now, when I go to color this in, I would probably make these sections a different color just to make my balloon really colorful. But if you were making a hot air balloon, it could look anything that you want it to look like. Okay, so now we've got her floating in the space. How do we make her look like she's actually in space? Right now it's very flat. Well, one thing I can do is add a background. So I'm going to draw a horizon line. A horizon is where it separates the sky from the land or the sky from the sea. Just depends on what's below and what's above, but it's pretty much always sky up here. And then I'm going to draw a mountain range behind her. So now I have a background. Now she's in the foreground, so there has to be a middle ground. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to make a bunch of trees because she's floating over some nice land, and maybe it's a farm. So I'm going to make lines that represent the different rows of crops underneath her, and then maybe some more trees over here. So this is my middle ground. Now I can also add some clouds in the background. And the ones that are farthest back, closest to the mountain range, are going to be the smallest clouds. So they're just going to hang out down here. They're not going to be really, really big because they're far away. But the closer they get to me, the viewer, the bigger the clouds are going to seem. So I'll just make some bigger clouds here. Now, I can also make uh, a couple of birds in the sky. I can do that too. That's up to you what you want to put in the sky if you're making an outdoor picture. So you can put lots of different things in the sky. Just for fun, I'm going to put an alien ship because who knows? Okay, so you can put whatever you want in your picture, but if you have it outdoors, you definitely want to show the background, the middle ground, and the foreground of your picture. So, once again, when you go to create these, you need to think of an activity that your toy is going to do. Make sure that your toy is dressed appropriately for the activity. Here we have Theodora in her swimsuit, or Theodora on the moon in her spacesuit, or Theodora as a ballerina. Have fun with this today. I look forward to seeing your creations. That's all for today, artists.